Howdy, folks. I'm a Sunday morning sidewalk,
I'm Amber.
and here's some Reddit. Today's letter is titled, Am I a Jerk for Telling My Therapist Lies Because I Suspect She Was Telling My Husband What I Was Telling Her During Our Sessions? I started seeing a therapist 6 months ago because I had postpartum depression. At first, she really helped me, but then I noticed on 2 occasions my husband mentioned things that I hadn't told him, but I had confided in my therapist. Since I had no proof and I didn't want to accuse either of them, I decided to tell my therapist lies that I knew he would confront me on if he heard them to see if I was being delusional or not. The more I lied to her, the more suspicious I became, too, since everything that made my husband look awful was challenged by her and twisted to make him look good. That's not good at all. It took a while for him to confront me, but he did. At first, he never believed that I was lying during those sessions, but when I finally convinced him I was, he was still furious at me. He said he only wanted to make sure that I was okay, and he hadn't been using the therapist to spy on me. Am I the jerk? That's the very definition of spy. Like, every single thing gets back to you. First off, what do you folks think? Jerk or not the jerk?
Not the jerk.
This is outrageous. This is ridiculous. I can understand being concerned about someone, but you don't use a therapist as an intermediate spying tool to check on the well being of your spouse. You sit down and talk with your spouse and try to figure out what's going on with them and see if there's anything you can do to help them. Also, you should report that therapist to whatever organization that they're at because this is actually like a breach of patient trust and confidentiality. They're not allowed to do this, so they should lose their license. And they should be fired. And I know that might seem like an extreme thing to do, but if this is happening with you and it was so easy for your husband to secure this, connection, then it may very well have happened with other people, and this therapist may be doing a lot of harm talking to people about other people's problems, and that's just wrong. That's unethical. There's, a standard of ethics that people like this need to follow because otherwise it hurts people. So I don't think that you're the jerk, and I think that therapist needs to be fired, and I think your husband needs to be fired too. Anyhow, take care and good luck. Sue the heck out of that therapist. This right here, that therapist should be sued. Find yourself a good lawyer. Moreover, the therapist was trying to convince you that the husband wasn't bad and that you were overreacting with some of the lies, which means she never had your best interest in heart, if those were actual truths. Sue her and get her to lose her license. Also, I suspect cheating between the husband and therapist. Otherwise, I don't know why any person would put their career on the line to bat this bad for one person. This is really weird. I mean, the whole situation just seems so odd. Like, why would the therapist, unless they're like buddy buddies or like they said, but you would think if they were in a relationship, the therapist would be convincing them the other direction, be like, oh yeah, maybe you should leave him. I don't know. It's a weird situation. It's very weird. Not the jerk, but your therapist is. I would report her. It's unacceptable for her to be discussing what you told her confidentially with anyone, regardless of how they're related to you. Not to mention illegal. It violates so many ethics in the American Counseling Code of Ethics. To get your state license, you must pass their certification test. Yes, it's illegal to share medical/psychological records. Find out where she got her certification, report her to them as well as the state boards. Not the jerk, this is immoral and illegal. Not the jerk, but is your husband sleeping with your therapist? That was my thought too, but then I thought if she was, she'd probably be trying to convince her to divorce him instead of twisting it to make him look good. I agree with all the above suggestions, especially suing her/him. That one was so short, folks. You get a second Sunday morning special. Our next letter is titled, Am I the Jerk for Laughing Hysterically After My Husband Called Me a Housewife and Embarrassing Him in Front of His Coworkers? No. My husband invited his new coworkers for dinner. When they arrived, he introduced me by gesturing to me and saying, This is Mrs. Smith. He didn't even say my name, just the housewife. I looked at him for a second, and then I started laughing hysterically. I then told him, "No, honey, I work full-time, and yes, I still act like a housewife when I'm home because you simply can't bother to help." His coworkers were staring at him as he tried to laugh and change the subject and ask what they wanted to drink. Dinner went super awkwardly with him, giving me glances and stares. Once the guests left, he blew up at me saying that I embarrassed him by laughing like a lunatic, and then making a comment that I made in front of his new coworkers and ruining his image. He ruined his own image. I told him that he was wrong to lie about my status and deny my degree to begin with. He said I could have talked to him about it privately later, but not like this, and making his coworkers think that he's useless. He stormed off and has been quiet the entire night. Was I out of line? No. All right, folks, what do you think? Jerk or not the jerk?
Not the jerk.
Oh, P, your husband. Like, he embarrassed himself by acting like this. It's like, maybe you could have, but no. No, there was no. He shouldn't have disrespected you to begin with. And he's flipping this around and being like, well, just because I disrespected you doesn't mean you needed to disrespect me in front of everyone else.
Right, well, and it's not like OP was disrespectful.
No. She just corrected him. And I mean, yeah, Amber brings up a good point. OP didn't even disrespect her husband here. She just was like, look, bub, just because you can't get your act together and actually help around the house doesn't mean that I'm a housewife. So it's really just a bad situation for you, OP, because he's just kind of acting like just kind of acting bad and trying to like be all impressive and stuff like that when he's just like a slob. I don't know. Anyhow, take care and good luck. Not the jerk. Hint for hubby. Don't want to be embarrassed in front of your coworkers? Then don't lie. Also, maybe the husband shouldn't be a raging misogynist who introduces their wife as Miss Smith, the housewife. Ew, some men. OP calling him out in front of his coworkers was nothing less than deserved. Right, he wanted OP to talk to him about it afterwards rather than in front of his coworkers, but he didn't extend the same courtesy to her. He just went for it. He doesn't get to embarrass his wife for social points and then expect her to keep quiet about it. He messed around and he found out. There's always one of these comments in here. OP matched his energy, not the jerk. Not the jerk. Men who diminish their partners to look better at the office are gross. He only seemed to care about his embarrassment, not yours. I would be mortified if my husband used that lie at rob me of my success and accomplishments to prop himself up. Yuck. For real, I'm more educated than my husband, and if he tried to pull this, then I would also laugh in his face. Fortunately, he loves me to brag about me, so it's never been an issue. Yeah, I mean, the one thing that I can say is that whenever Amber and I go out to like an event or something like that, I'm always like, I'm Dr. Toner and this is my housewife.
Yeah, no. Somebody would would be in trouble.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding, folks. I'm just kidding. Amber's staring daggers at me. Please send help.
We don't even go to events.
Alright, folks, that's all the time we have for today. I hope you enjoyed today's video. Hopefully you had a nice beverage to enjoy your video with. I had coffee.
I have water.
Amber has water. The delicious water. Hopefully you enjoyed this Sunday morning special. If you did, consider giving it a like. And if you didn't, consider giving it a dislike. Thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you all tomorrow.
Bye.